In this video, we're going to talk about something that happens when you're evaluating limits, and that's the indeterminate form 0 over 0. So what will happen sometimes when you go to evaluate a limit, you'll try uh, to plug in the number that you're taking the limit at, right? The value, and you'll come up with a zero, a fraction, right, with 0 on the top and 0 on the bottom. So that's what's called an indeterminate form. And what an indeterminate form is, it's just a form, a name for an expression that will come up when you're evaluating limits. And really, this mathematically is a meaningless symbol. You can't really define it in any way that makes any sense. It's kind of like, you have a string of math symbols. I have a 0 and a division, a fraction bar, and a 0. I kind of liken it to like if I have letters in, say, the English language. I can string a bunch of letters together, but that doesn't make a word. It doesn't mean that it makes any sense. And so that's kind of what the indeterminate form is. It's a bunch of symbols, mathematical symbols instead of letters, but you really can't assign any value to it that makes sense in all of the problems where you would want it to make sense. So first off, division by 0, right, is undefined here, and you just can't define division by 0 in any consistent way. A lot of people will, when they first come across 0 over 0, try to attach some number to that. They'll say, well, and the two most popular things are 0 and 1. And I can kind of see why people might want to think that, right? Usually the argument that people make that it should be equal to 1 is that, well, any number over itself is equal to 1. And that certainly is true for any number except for 0. So that's the problem with that argument. You just can't do it in any consistent way. So when you come across this in a limit problem, basically what it means is that whatever you've been doing up until that point to evaluate the limit is not going to work. So, and what you've got to do when you have that 0 over 0 case, and none of the limit laws will work for that, and so what you've got to do is just try some other technique to evaluate the limit. And in the next two examples, that's what we're going to show you how to do, is what are some of the things that you can do when 0 over 0 does happen so that you can actually get the correct answer. So